Hi everybody, it's Christina. Welcome to December. As usual, I've got a reading ready for you. So today I was actually quite drawn to use a tarot deck that I haven't used in a long time. The pull was quite strong, so I grabbed it, and it's actually the Pagan Tarot deck. Ooh, hope you can see that, by Gina Pace. Oh, excuse me. And so what I've done is I've pulled 3 cards, and I've basically just asked the question of what's in store for December in general. And interesting, all the cards that have come through pertain to self. Now, the reason that is interesting is because for many of us, September, October, November, all of it's been about self-development. It's been, well, actually since July, it's been very much this roller coaster ride of making sure that you stand up for yourself, making sure that you're speaking your truth, following your dreams, keeping aim, keeping stock of where you're heading. So I was a little surprised in some regards to having the self cards come up, but having said that, also not so much really, because we are at the end of the 9 years, so we are at the end of the completion year. So all that stuff that we've been dealing with, all those ideas and all those changes we've made within ourselves are basically coming full circle now. So we're coming to the end of, towards the end of the completion year, and then in preparation for starting 2017. Nice 1 year full of new opportunities and new beginnings. So without further ado, I'm just going to share with you the cards that were drawn for you today. Now, I actually have 4 cards. So the first card that came up is called the Elemental of Chalices. And these are beautiful artwork cards. So the Elemental of chalices of course being cups. So in a traditional tarot deck, chalices are very much, or cups are very much about the emotional aspect of self. Now the elemental is the very first step out of all the court cards. So 2 messages came through for me with regards to the elemental of chalices. One was that like a warning that there is potential for childhood wounds surrounding December to do with family may resurface. So really old stuff that you perhaps haven't even thought were an issue are potentially affecting your relationships now as we head in towards the Christmas season. So this may pertain to death in the family. It may pertain to a less than fruitful Christmas. You may have had a time in your youth where Christmas may not have been such a fun thing. So whatever it is, there seems to be hints of it surfacing. So it's not a full-blown issue, it's just a remembrance is the word I'm hearing. It's a remembrance of the issue, remembering the pain or the feelings that you felt at that time, and then recognizing how far you've come. So that's the first aspect. The second aspect is because it's an emotional and it's an elemental, it's kind of like a pat on the back to say, well done, you've come a long way in your emotional journey, and you're really at the beginning of the new you. So you're really taking that step forward, you're owning your stuff, taking responsibility for your part in whatever's going on in your life at this time and whatever's been going on in your life, well, all your life, where you may not have taken responsibility for it. And so the Elemental of Chalice is very much about continuing to speak your mind, continuing to learn from your mistakes, continuing to pat yourself on the back and realize just how far you've come. So it's a little bit of almost like a double whammy really, because you have that childhood issue presenting, but you also have the wisdom. You've gained the knowledge, you've had the experience to know that that was then and it needs to stay there, and you've actually come quite a long way. So the start of this month is actually looking quite positive, and it really is just a nice big pat on the back to say, well done, but you're not quite there yet. So that then takes us into the second card, and I have a little chuckle because it's also a chalice. But this time round, it is the initiate. Okay, so the initiate is basically the next step up. So it's really saying that even though those childhood issues, basically I've already said it, that the childhood issues that you are remembering or reliving, for want of a better word, are really not sort of consequential anymore. They're just almost like petty incidences, you know. So the initiate of the chalice is just saying, you know what, yeah, you've come a long way, you're being very mature about this. And this, to me, this card tends to feel more pertaining to actual Christmas. So that may be 3 or 4 days either side of Christmas. So potentially from about the 18th, 19th of December through to about the 26th, about the 26th. So in about that time frame there, it's like you've settled down and you've let stuff go, and perhaps the differences that you've had with particularly family members at this time of year, where that would normally bring up painful memories or a lack of wanting to participate in the whole festivities of Christmas or family time. You're really starting to be very mature about it all, shall we say. I don't mean that in a derogatory way or anything. It's just that you have gained such wisdom and such knowledge this year that you've realised that petty little things are really just that, and that they don't define who you are. They don't pertain to your character necessarily anymore, and that you really have come a long way. So it's just confirmation to say actually you're on the right track. It can also mean that you are exactly on the path that you need to be right now to get to where you want to be in 2017. Now 2017 is a year of beginnings and new opportunities, being a 1 year. So all the work that you have done this year, well done. And there's been a lot for some of us. I know I've had a few clients that have really struggled this year, and there's been a lot of growth around me, and probably within me too, truth be told. But this is I'm trying to think of the correct words. It's really, it's kind of like you've laid the path, you've laid down the tracks, and you're on the right train, you know. We've laid down tracks before, we've gotten on the train and it's taken us to an unknown destination. We go, well, that's not where we really wanted to go. It's almost like you've worked out exactly which train track you need to follow. It's like you've come to a fork in the road and you go, okay, that one didn't work so well, so I'm going to go with that one. And the initiate is basically letting you know that yes, that is now the correct path. You have finally found your way. Now you just keep chugging along nicely. So that brings us to the end of the month, which is quite interesting because 2 cards fell out, one being the Fool. Now the Fool is very representative of self, very representative of that carefree nature of, well, you know what, I don't really know where I'm going, but I'm actually okay with that. The card that fell out with it is interesting, is the Lover's card. Now the reason I find that interesting, because this is a marriage, and it's a marriage between you and yourself, if that makes sense. It's like you've come so far and you're on the right track, and you're on the right track because you've created this unity within yourself. So you're no longer just you know, we wear many hats in our lifetime. So you might be a mum, a wife, a brother, a son, manager over there, and a baker over there, and a cook and a chef over there, you know, whatever it is. We wear so many hats in our lifetime, and so this is really closure. It's really come full circle towards the end of the month, really full circle. So all of that stuff, all of that hard work has just come together nicely, and you've realised that your physical is not separate to your mental, nor your emotional, nor your spiritual. You've realised that your emotional is not separated, or separate, should I say, from the physical being, or the intellectual being, or the spiritual being. It's like you've had this mass awakening, so you've kind of brought it in all together beautifully. So you've actually married yourself. You've brought in that unity, that union of marriage. And that is the best way to start 2017 together. Okay? So when you are together within yourself, it means that everything and everyone around you is also going to start reflecting that. So this is truly, for me, an amazing indication, amazing sign that we are all, when I say all, I mean the greater universe, we are all finally coming to that point in our lives where we've realized that you can't just have science and technology without spiritual faith. We've realized that you can't have a healthy physical body if you haven't got a physical emotional body. We've realized that all that mental stress that we give ourselves, all that tension, all that toing and froing, should I, shouldn't I, maybe I will, maybe I won't, all that confusion, it's gone. We've realised that it's not working for us. So December is actually a really cool month. You know, you've got a little bit of iffy moments coming up, you know, in this first half. But after Christmas, you know, towards the new year, it's like those, everyone makes New Year's resolutions, I guess. This is more like an awareness that you can actually do it. You can do it, and that 2017 is your year. So, on that note, I'd like to let you know that probably the next time you see me on video, I'll look a little bit different because I'm going a bit adventurous next weekend. But also I'd like to let you know that in January I'm holding a Wise Woman's Wellness Seminar, and it's quite a popular seminar that I present, and I give you some very basic up-to-date tools and skills that can help you get your health and wellness back together in one piece. And you get some helpful tips and tricks to help you get through the year and start fresh. So if you'd like to attend the Wise Woman Wellness seminar that I'm hosting on the 15th of January, please let me know by dropping me an email or a message on the Facebook page, or at my email, christina@mysticalessence.com.au, and I'll pop you down on the list. And apart from that, have yourself an amazing Christmas, an amazing time of celebration, of being together, of loving yourself, of congratulating yourself, and just have an amazing, amazing December. Until next time, I hope you all stay safe and sound and in loving arms and in loving company, and I will see you in 2017. Bye.